All right, guys. So what you want to do is take out your packet, and we're going to work on day 8 today. So we're going to talk about the introduction to multiplying binomials using the box. All right. So what you guys are going to need: get 2 highlighters, pink and blue. Stop the video. Go get yourself these 2 highlighters so you can follow along in the notes. I do want you to take the notes. Make sure you do that. That's the one thing I'll be checking, is to make sure that you're actually completing these notes when I do these videos. That way you have something to look back on when to know what you're doing. All right, so here's the deal. Here's what you're doing. You're using this box to multiply, all right? So you got to know how to multiply. Got to know how to multiply x times a number, numbers times other numbers, and that sort of thing. All right, so this is like just teaching you how to use the box. Here's the problems that you're actually going to be using it with. So you're going to get something like that, like some number times 2 other numbers, maybe 2 numbers times 2 other numbers, something like that. Or they'll look like this, okay? So it's actually, the problem you're going to get actually looks like this, but you're going to use this box, this method, to multiply it out, okay? So I know that, right now it looks like you're just multiplying some box and you're like, well, what is it for? It's for these problems down here. This is just kind of the practice part to show you how to do it, okay? All right, so here we go. So starting off with the one on the top, basically what you're going to do is you're going to take the number or variable, okay, that's above and to the side of that box and multiply them. Okay, so if this is above and this is to the side, that means that these two kind of line up right here with this box, right? And then we do x times x. Well, that gives us x to the second power, x squared. Okay, then the one above lines up with this box down here, and the one to the side lines up here. So I'm going to do 3 times x, which is 3x. All right, so now for this box, again, the number to the side, the number above lines up here, right? So it's 8 times x, 8x. All right, so now with this one here, again, the last one, number to the side, number above, 3 times 8, 24. Okay, now you're not done. All right, so all you did was multiply out all these numbers. Now you need to write this out in an expression. All right, and the way you do that is you first start with the one in the corner, okay, x squared. And then you want to look for any like terms, anything that has the same numbers, okay, the same type of numbers, and then also the same variable. Okay, this x squared, there is no other square. Okay, so remember that the square is by itself. There's no other square here, right? Okay, however, the 3x and the 8x both have x, right? This 24 doesn't. Okay, so what we're going to do with these two is add them up or combine them. So 3x plus 8x, that's going to give us 11x. Okay, and then the last part is the 24 plus 24. Okay, so there's the expression. That's what you're going to write out. Now, this part where it says area, basically what you're going to do is you're going to write this times this. Okay, we're going to do x plus 3 in parentheses. So we take that, put in parentheses, and then times another parentheses, these two numbers, x plus 8. Okay, so that's just expressing it as an area model. Okay, so now same thing here. Okay, so we're going to do x. So this number across, and the number that lines up with that box is this 2x. So 2 times, now remember, if there's no number here, that's a 1, right? So this is 1 times 2, which is 2. And then you're also doing x times this x, which is going to be x squared. Okay, so that one's 2x squared. Okay, now these two line up. So 2x times 5, well, that's 10x. 3 times 1x, that's 3x. And then 5 times 3x, well, that's 15x. Okay, so now, oh, I'm sorry, there's no 15. There's no x there. My bad. That's just 5 times 3, so it's just 15. All right, so again, that one's by itself, right? That 2x squared. All right, then I've got my like terms, the 10x and the 3x. Add those together, and I get 13x. And then I got my last term here, 15. And notice how I'm going in a certain order, too. I'm going with the number that has x squared, then I'm going with the number with x, and then I'm going with the number that doesn't have x. Okay, that's called standard form. Okay, when you go in this order, we go A, oops, let me write it like this. Okay, we go a is the first number with x squared, plus b with the x is the second number with just x. Okay, and then the last one is c is the number without x at all. Okay, and again, this is called standard form. So make sure you're writing in standard form as you write out all your expressions. Okay, so now again, the area, all I do is I take these numbers on the side. It doesn't matter what order you go in. I can do the 2x plus 3 first or the x plus 5 first. It doesn't matter. It's still the same. So x plus 5 in parentheses, and then 2x plus 3 also in parentheses. Okay? All right, next one. Okay, so now again, this only has two. We're only multiplying one number times two numbers. So it's just 3 times y, 3y. 3 times 5, 15. Write that out. Now, there's no like terms to combine. It's just 3y and 15. And then the expression for area is 3 times this part, y plus 5. And since it's just 3 by itself, I don't need parentheses for that, okay? All right, so now this one, now I've got more than just two numbers on top. I have 3 here, all right? But still the process is the same. All right, so still think about it here. I've got 1 times negative 1, right? So 1 times negative 1 is going to be negative 1. And then x times x is going to be x squared. Okay, so that's how I get x squared there. Okay, now it's going to be negative 1 times negative 4, which is positive 4. But then I'm also multiplying x, so I got x there. Then up here, this is just 1x times 1y, which is just xy. Okay, basically just x times y, because you can't combine those together, right? Okay, so then this is 1 times negative 4, which is negative 4, then times y as well. Okay, this one, again, I'm doing this, right? I'm doing the number across times the number above. Okay, so this 2 times x is just 2x. Then 2 times minus 4 is negative 8. Okay, now I want to look for like terms, right? Okay, now this is the only x squared that I've got. So that one goes first. And I don't have to put the 1, so I'm just going to put negative x squared. Okay, then let's see. I've got 1x here and 1x there. So and then notice how I have a xy, and then there's a y. So those are not like terms, by the way, because remember, they have to have the same letters, same exponent. This has x and y. This only has y. So these two x terms are the only ones we're going to combine. Okay, so we're first going to do the xy because it's two letters. Then we'll do the x term. Okay, it's 4 plus 2, which is 6x. Then we'll put in the y. And then lastly, the negative 8. Okay, and again, all I do for the area to write it as an area is I do first, I'm going to do the x minus 4 in parentheses. Then I'm going to do the top in parentheses. Minus x plus y plus 2. Boom. Okay. All right. Now this one, it's half set up. Okay. It gives me the actual problem, and I have to set up the box this time. All right. So now the number in the front is the first number I'm going to write here to the side. Okay. So I'm going to write 5t to the 5th power. Then the numbers inside, I'm going to put here on top. Okay. So it's going to be negative 7 t to the 4th, then minus, and don't forget to include the sign. You want to make sure you put those signs, negative 3. Okay? So just remember that this is a positive 5, right? So every time I do a negative times a positive, I'm going to get a negative for each of these numbers. All right, so just to kind of get that out the way to make sure I don't make that mistake and forget about that. All right, so now we're going to do big numbers times numbers first. So 5 times 7, that's 35, and ends up being negative 35. And then remember, when I multiply variables times each other, what do we do with the exponents? We add them. So this would be t to the 5 plus 4, which is 9. Okay, same thing here. T to the 5 times t to the 3, we add them. Oh, sorry, I forgot about the number. Okay, we're going to do 5 times 11 first. That's 55. Then we do the t's times the t's. T to the 5th times t to the 3. Add them up, you get 8. T to the 8. Now we just write it out. So these are not like terms, by the way, because this is t to the 9 and this is t to the 8. That makes them not like terms. I don't combine them like I do these two here. Okay, so here it's just negative 35 t to the 9 minus, don't forget the signs, 55t to the 8. And again, basically, this one's already kind of written out for you for the area part. They already did it. So the problem is the area expression. Okay, we call these expressions. Okay, which is in this case, this is in factored form. Whenever it's like this, and it's kind of like separated like this into parentheses, this is called factored form. So when we add them all up like this, and then we put them in order, that's standard. When they're separated like this with parentheses, that's factored. Okay. All right. So now with this one, again, we have to set it up. So now notice I've got 1, 2 times 1, 2 numbers. So we call this a 2 by 2. Okay. And that's how you make your box. So like for instance, on this one, this was one number times two numbers. So it's a 1 by 2. Okay. This would be a 2 by 3. Okay, this is also a 1 by 2. All right, so here 2 by 2. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this negative 5s minus 7, and that goes on one side. I can put it on the top, I can put it on the side, or the bottom. I like to put everything on the left and the top, not really on the bottom or the right, kind of like over on this problem. I don't really like putting it on the bottom. I prefer to do the top and the left. So I'm going to do negative 5s here, then negative 7. Remember, you put these together here. Okay, and then these two will go on the top, okay, right here. Okay, so 4s and plus 8. And remember, don't forget about those signs. Those signs are important so that you know you're doing negatives and positives and all that good stuff, okay? All right, so now first we're going to do the numbers. So we're going to do this box. Remember, this box would be these two. So negative 5 times 4, which is negative 20. S times s, s squared. All right, so now this one, we're going to do 4 times negative 7. That's negative 28. But it also has an s, so times s. Okay. Negative 5 times 8 is negative 40. Times s is negative 40s. And then negative 7 times 8 is negative 56. Notice all these negatives, right? So we got to make sure we're doing that for all of these. All right, so that's just 56. All right, so now the only terms I have are these s terms. Okay, so we're going to have negative 20. We start with the s squared, the squared term. Then negative 28 minus 40, that's going to be negative 68s, and then minus 56. And again, the area expression is just pretty much what they already gave you, is the same thing written in the factored form. So remember, we call this factored. Okay? All right, guys. So I'm continuing on with your packet here. I'm going to be doing everything in a notebook. Sorry I wasn't able to finish that video in the packet, but it's going to be all the same stuff. Okay. So again, going back to this one, now you'll notice that all these problems here at the bottom of your notes, they don't have the box set up. So you have to make the box. Okay. So let's start off with this: x plus 6 and 2x minus 5. All right. So I got x plus 6, and you do this right here in your notes. You don't have to write this part. 2x, what was that? 2x minus 5. Sorry, plus 6 there. All right, so here's how you set it up. So first, again, the polynomial is this part. Area will be what we end up come up with. All right, and I realized I just kind of switched things around. I apologize for that. But all those times when I wrote in polynomial here, that's actually what you start with, and the area is what you come up with. So I kind of got things all backwards. I just realized in the video, I was telling you guys to put your answer from inside up here where it says polynomial, but it actually needs to go where area goes. Okay, so what you want to do is, again, here we have two terms here. We got two terms here. So this is going to be a 2 by 2 box. Okay, so you're going to do a box that has 2 rows and 2 columns. All right, and remember, like I told you before, you want to take these terms and they go on the outside of the box. So x and 6 go here, plus 6, and then 2x and minus 5 go there. All right, so now again, the number above and the number across, they multiply to give you that term. So 2x times x is 2x squared. X times minus 5, negative 5x. 2x times positive 6 is 2 times 6 is 12, so we get 12x. And then 6 times minus 5 is negative 30. All right, so now we write out first the squared term, so 2x squared. Then we combine the like terms, the 2x terms there, and that's going to be 12 minus 5. So that's positive 7x. So we put plus x, or plus 7x because it's positive. And the last one is minus 30. Okay? All right, so we'll go to the next one. So now, sorry guys. So now we're going to do this one. 3x plus 4, 3x minus 5, 4. Keep going the wrong way. All right, so 3x plus 4, 3x minus 4. Okay, so and the area will be our answer. Okay, again, this is just another 2 by 2. So 2 rows, 2 columns. Okay, 3x plus 4. And again, it doesn't matter where you put this. I could put this, sorry about that. This could go on the top or it can go on the side. Either way. Okay, and I'll show you how to what it would look like if I put everything on the bottom too, because you can do it on the bottom as well. And I'll tell you what I mean here in a sec. So 3 times 3, that's 9. X times x, x squared. 3x times negative 9, well, that's negative 27 times x. Okay, then we have here 3 times 4, well, that's 12, and then x. And then 4 times minus 9, it's going to be negative 36. Same thing, start with the squared term, 9x squared. Okay, these two go together. So this would be 12 minus 27, or negative 12 plus, negative 27 plus 12. Okay, that's going to be negative 15x, and then minus 36. Okay. And again, you guys are doing this in your packet, so you can kind of just copy these problems into your packet as we go through this. All right, so now this x plus 5, this one here, x plus 5 squared. All right. So we got x plus 5 squared. Okay, so here's something unique about this one. Okay, when you see squared, all that means is that whatever you see here is repeated, okay, twice. That's what squared means. It means that that's how many times you're multiplying those factors or those numbers inside. So you end up with actually 2x plus 5s, which, if you think about it, is the exact same as the other ones. So you can see I kind of already did the work for that one. I set up x plus 5, and multiplied it out. Now I add up all the terms inside. There's your like terms. 5x plus 5x is 10x, and then plus 25. Okay, so the only thing different about this one compared to this one was that you started off with one, we call these factors when they're written inside. We started off with one two number factor, which has squared, and anytime it's squared, you just repeat it twice, okay, or it's called expand it out. Okay, the next one, 4x times 3x minus negative 3x plus 5. All right, so now this is a little different. Notice that we don't have two numbers in front. We only have 1, and we have 2 here. So this is going to be a 1 by 2 box. All right, so this literally is just one row, 2 columns. Okay, the number that's singled out by itself, that will go here on the side. And then the two numbers that are together, those will go in the 2 spots above your box. Okay, same steps as before. 4x times negative 3x is going to be negative 12, and then x times x is x squared. 4 times 5, 20 times x is 20x. And then you notice these are both, this one's x squared and this one's x, so we don't add them together. We write them separately, and they're not like terms, like I said. So that one's positive 20, so I'm going to write plus 20x. Okay. All right, so here's the next one. So now notice we still have one term in the front. We have 1, 2, 3 terms on the inside this time. So this will be a 1 by 3 box. So it'll be one row and 1, 2, 3 columns. Okay, so the first one goes in the front, x to the 8th power. On the top, 2 to the x, 2x squared, then plus 9x, and then negative 1. Okay, so just as before, and again, that's a 2. So here, remember, this is just a 1 there, so that's 2 times 1 is 2. And then x to the 8 times x to the square. And remember, when we multiply x or variables, we just add the exponents. So that's x to the 10, not 16, but the 10. We add the exponents. And also for this one, this is just x to the 1. So first 9 times 1 is 9. First we multiply the big numbers, and then we add up the littles. So x to the 8th times x to the 1, that would be x to the 9th. 1 times 1, or 1 times negative 1 is negative 1, and then times x to the 8th. So it's just negative 1 x to the 8th. Okay, so you notice how these are all x, but they're all different exponents, so I can't write them together. So it's just 2x to the 10 plus, because that's positive, x to the 9th, then minus. It's just a 1, so I don't really need to write the 1. So I put negative or minus 8x to the 8th. All right, so the next one. All right, last one here, 5 plus y times 2y minus 4. All right, so again, 2 by 2 box. Okay, so we'll set that up. All right, so we have 5 and then plus y. On the top, we have 2y and then minus 4. Okay, and also, just like I said before, I could put this on the bottom if I wanted. I could put the 2y and the minus 4 here, and I'll still get the same thing. Okay, I could put the 5 and plus y over here on the right. Just make sure that you either have one of the two numbers on the side, and then one on either the top or the bottom. Okay. All right. So, anyways, so I could go 5 times 2y. Well, that lines up with this box, and that's 10y. Okay, or these two, it's the same thing, right? So I'm just showing you that sometimes it's, you'll get them like this, kind of like we did in those first couple problems, or sometimes it's down here. Okay. All right, so now 2 times 2y times y, well, that's just 2y squared. Okay, 5 times negative 4 goes here, so that's negative 20. And then y times negative 4, that's negative 4y. Okay, so is there any like terms? There is, and they're right here, 10y and negative 4y. The first one we write is the one that's squared, so 2y squared. Then let's combine these like terms, so 10y minus 4y, that's positive 6y, so plus 6y. And then the last one, negative 20. Okay, so that's how you multiply using the box. All right, so make sure you copy all those notes in there.